my God! Katt Williams has stormed into this whole LA fire situation, and what he's claiming will absolutely blow your mind.
It ain't that much ass shit in the world. Everybody know that.
Watch for those fires. Explosions make fires too. Explosions make accidental fires too. And then, oops, we don't know how that happened. And then you look into it.
I mean, can we just talk about how insane this is getting? While everyone else seems to have moved on from these devastating fires, there are families, real people, whose lives have been completely turned upside down, desperately searching for answers. And let me tell you, some of these theories floating around, well, most are completely off the wall, but others, they'll make your jaw drop. Get this. There's this absolutely wild theory going around that certain Hollywood big shots might have orchestrated these fires to destroy evidence linking them to the Diddy case. And if that's not shocking enough, people are saying Diddy himself might be pulling the strings from behind bars. I kid you not, there's actual leaked footage of him dropping these super cryptic messages during a phone call that's been spreading like wildfire online. Katt Williams is totally convinced something fishy is going on, and he's made it his personal mission to expose Diddy's connection to these devastating fires.
This morning, the firestorm officials had feared becoming a reality, with a third out-of-control wildfire exploding overnight in the Los Angeles area.
At the end of the day, I mean, who's ready for something like this?
Overnight, flames reaching the iconic Malibu neighborhood and its beachfront homes. In the coastal neighborhood Pacific Palisades, multiple homes completely engulfed in flames, with desperate residents rushing to get out. Planes flying above the area, capturing the massive reach of the inferno.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. People are absolutely freaking out because, let's be honest, the timing is just too perfect to ignore. I mean, Diddy's talking in code about getting rid of evidence, and then, boom, suddenly we have these unprecedented fires sweeping through LA? Come on, but wait, it gets even juicier. You won't believe this. The fire patterns were totally bizarre. Some celebrity homes were completely destroyed while their neighbors' houses didn't even have a scratch. And who's pointing this out? None other than Catherine Austin Fitts, who used to be a big deal in the government during George H.W. Bush's presidency. She did this fascinating deep dive on her podcast, and what she revealed is absolutely mind-blowing. She couldn't help but notice how certain celebrities connected to Diddy mysteriously managed to keep their houses safe while everything around them turned to ash. She's convinced these fires were definitely no accident. They were meant to cover up some seriously dark stuff involving high-profile celebrities and politicians.
What I want to see, what I usually look at in situations like this, is I look at the patterns of who got wiped out and how. And one of the first questions, I'll be honest, that I'm going to look at when I look at some of the communities involved is how many of the homeowners were on the P. Diddy list.
Yeah, I think that's on everyone's mind, to be honest. Let's be honest.
Now, let me spill some serious tea about this infamous Diddy list that everyone's been whispering about since the dramatic raid on his homes in May 2024. While nothing's been officially confirmed, the names being thrown around are absolutely massive. We're talking Jay-Z, Beyonce, Jennifer Lopez, Kevin Hart, Usher, Oprah, Ashton Kutcher, Ellen DeGeneres, and that's just scratching the surface. The rumor mill is churning with whispers that the list goes way deeper, including countless B, C, and even D-list celebrities caught up in Diddy's scandalous operations. But Fitts didn't stop there. She dropped another bombshell by comparing this to the shocking Franklin cover-up from 1988. That's when several prominent Nebraska politicians and business figures were accused of involvement in unspeakable crimes. Her point, if they could sweep something that massive under the rug back then, imagine what they're capable of now.
He's been a subscriber for many years, Polly, and for the first time in his life, he read the Franklin cover-up last week. And I spoke to him last weekend, and he said, I keep hearing you, he said, you get frustrated because people don't understand the importance of financial transaction freedom to their lives. And I hear you keep telling people who say, well, I don't have many assets, and if they take my assets, I don't care. And I hear you telling people, wait a minute, they can take your children. They can mandate health treatments to your children, and they can literally take your treatment. And he said, you need to understand that even though I've been a subscriber for 10 years, I didn't understand what you were saying. And he said, I don't think most people understand what you're saying. But I read the Franklin cover-up, which is one of the best, highly documented cases of a pedophilia ring in America. And he said, Now I understand what you mean. Now I understand what you mean when you say they'll take your children, and what that really means, and why financial transaction freedom is so very important to me and to you, because we cannot allow that to happen. So he said, this is the first time that it really got to be personal. It really touched me in an intimate and visceral way. And, I've seen dreadful things done in the interest of covering up the pedophilia rings. And this is likely to include, whenever you do an operation this big, you stack functions. So there's a lot of stacking functions going on, but it wouldn't surprise me if pedophilia is one of those functions that's getting stacked here.
But hold on to your seats, because this story just took an even more dramatic turn. Right when Catherine Fitz's revelations were gaining traction, some incredibly disturbing old comments from Allie Carter, one of Diddy's accusers, started resurfacing. Remember when she went viral last year with those shocking allegations against Diddy?
In containers with his shipment of kids. There were kids in there that didn't speak English. There were kids that were sick and that were already dying. There were babies. There were babies that were 6 years old, and I'll never forget them just crying, and everybody was just staring at them. Everybody was just staring at each other. Nobody knew whether or not to move. I was freaked out. And I got up and I held her. And they opened the truck and they took her from me. Because they said she was already sick. And they killed her. Her name was Bailey.
But I was a kid. And all of this situation, everything that we're talking about, everything that I've been talking about, I was under the age of 18. Let's start there. Okay? I was sold a lot in foster care. A lot of stuff happened in my life with the family I was with. Okay? CPS reports go back to 3 months old. I remember 4 years old, and everything took off from there. All right? So never in my life did a lot of the stuff seem wrong until I met this twin of mine. Nothing seemed wrong. I'm telling you the God honest truth to me. And even when I met her, I was just like, it's fine.
But get this, Allie also made some disturbing statements that seem to predict everything that's happening now. She warned followers on social media to keep their eyes and minds open and ask questions when the cover-ups start.
There's ways that this is about to go. I think a lot of you guys are everybody's like, we're ready. We're ready until it's happening. And then everybody's like, well, I wasn't ready. Yeah. There's gonna be a lot of that. There's no other way to get ready. There's no other way to prepare. There's no protocol for what's about to happen. The world is going to crumble when they see this next arrest. In the meantime, there's going to be deaths, distractions, and fires to hide evidence. Watch for it, ask questions, demand answers. You know who's on those flight logs. You do. You know who should be arrested. You all do. You know that laptop from hell is real. You know that the black book is real. You know Ghislaine Maxwell's customers are who everybody is watching in the everyday news, including those.
The most chilling part, Ali actually predicted all of this. She warned us about mysterious fires, explosions, and accidents that would suddenly start happening. She specifically said these events would be used by Hollywood elites and politicians to cover up their darker activities.
Watch for those fires. Explosions make fires too. Explosions make accidental fires too. And then, oops, we don't know how that happened. And then you look into it and you see that it's tied to something that's tied to something that's tied to something that's tied to trafficking. And then you realize, oh, it wasn't just an explosion.
Ali's recent social media posts are giving everyone goosebumps. She's basically saying, I told you so about these LA fires, and she's convinced it's no coincidence that they started right when investigators were closing in on Diddy's alleged accomplices.
Burning, is it? Because didn't I tell y'all that? Didn't I tell y'all there will be an accidental explosion? Accidental fire? And the next thing you know, And next thing you know, celebrities' homes would be on fire. Things would be on fire. I pray for the people in its path, but I also pray that it exposes the things that it needs to expose.
And speaking of scandals, this whole thing is dragging some major celebrities into the spotlight. Jay-Z and Jennifer Lopez are now caught up in legal drama connected to Diddy. Get this, the feds are actually reopening that infamous 1999 NYC club shooting where Jay-Z allegedly handed Diddy a weapon during a chaotic altercation that left several people injured. And J-Lo? Well, investigators are raising eyebrows about her version of events from that night. The burning question on everyone's mind, if she wasn't truthful about that incident, what else might she be hiding? But the Jay-Z situation gets even more disturbing. He's been named in a lawsuit involving truly horrific allegations at an after-party following the 2000 VMAs. The details are absolutely shocking.
As you probably already know, a lawsuit had been filed against Jay-Z, aka Sean Carter, by an unnamed woman alleging that Jay-Z had committed several acts of violence, etc., SA, against her when she wasn't of age. The court had provisionally allowed the plaintiff to continue with the lawsuit without revealing her name, and then today again issued an order with respect to the anonymity issue and some other issues which are a doozy. This order is several pages long, so forgive me for when I read from it. The court noted that in deciding whether the plaintiff may proceed anonymously, it would balance the plaintiff's interest in anonymity against both the public interest in disclosure and any prejudice to the defendant, as is the case law.
Of course, Jay-Z's legal team is fighting these allegations tooth and nail, but this back and forth between the lawyers is getting intense. And here's the thing that's making everyone's heads spin. The sheer number of high-profile names potentially involved in this scandal is staggering. We're talking athletes, Hollywood A-listers, politicians, and even religious figures. With so many powerful people potentially implicated, is it really that surprising that extreme measures might be taken to keep these secrets buried? As if all this wasn't suspicious enough, videos of mysterious explosions started circulating online, adding fuel to these conspiracy theories. Even celebrities are starting to speak out about their doubts. Chris Brown didn't hold back, posting on his Instagram story, "Someone starting these fires-ish don't add up." And he's not alone. Henry Winkler expressed his fury about a possible arsonist in LA, while Peter Murgatroyd from Dancing with the Stars shared an alarming tweet about men in ski masks deliberately starting fires. But perhaps the most compelling evidence came from Andrew Huberman, the renowned neuroscientist and podcaster. He actually witnessed suspicious activity firsthand near Santa Monica, sharing photos of people standing suspiciously close to what appeared to be a freshly started fire. He took action immediately, alerting both the fire department and police. The similarities to the 2018 Malibu fires are sending chills down everyone's spine. The pattern is eerily familiar: selective destruction where certain celebrity homes were reduced to ashes while neighboring properties remained untouched. And here's the most mind-bending part: both fires coincided with major Hollywood scandals. Back then, it was the Harvey Weinstein case making headlines, and now we're deep in the Diddy investigation. Enter Katt Williams, who's been absolutely fearless in exposing what he believes is the truth behind Diddy's operations. He was the first one to drop that bombshell about the baby oil found in Diddy's houses, revealing it wasn't just ordinary baby oil, but something far more sinister. According to Katt, it was laced with substances that left victims helpless and unable to resist.
Oh, not $1,000. It ain't that much ass shit in the world. Everybody know that.
They put the drugs in the baby oil. You thinking you getting a massage, bitch, you can't even get up. That's why God gave me eczema. I can't even use baby oil.
The aftermath of Katt's revelation was explosive. New accusers started coming forward with horrifying stories about their experiences with this laced baby oil. Word on the street is that federal investigators actually tested the substances and found traces of GHB and tranquilizers. Absolutely shocking. Katt hasn't been shy about calling out what he sees as government cover-ups, and he's convinced Hollywood is just one massive propaganda machine.
Information is what is limited. And whole industries can be built upon your ability to know how certain things are going to hit certain people. And this was before we called things promotion and marketing. You know what I mean? That's Hollywood is not really there to entertain you. Like, that's great that that happens, but propaganda is something that is important to all civilizations.
The plot thickens with Katt's latest claims that high-ranking politicians are tangled up in this Diddy scandal. According to him, these powerful figures would stop at nothing, even if it means setting LA ablaze to keep their dark secrets hidden. The big question on everyone's minds is Katt Williams actually onto something huge here, or is this just another wild conspiracy theory? The debate is absolutely raging online, with people divided between those who see patterns in these seemingly random events and others who think it's all just coincidence. What makes this story so compelling is how each new piece of information seems to connect to something bigger, from the mysterious fire patterns to the timing of these disasters, from celebrity testimonies to leaked footage, from historical cover-ups to current investigations. It's like watching a complex puzzle slowly come together. But whether this puzzle reveals a shocking truth or just an elaborate conspiracy theory, one thing's for certain: this story has captured everyone's attention and isn't going away anytime soon. The implications of these allegations are sending shockwaves through Hollywood, leaving everyone wondering who else might be involved, what other secrets are waiting to be uncovered, and most importantly, will we ever know the full truth about these devastating LA fires? Stay tuned, because something tells me this story is far from over.